Most people think that a training session starts when people are in the room, but actually setting the scene starts well before people even arrive at the workshop location. How you begin a training session starts at the moment of invitation. In this video, I'll share 5 simple things you can do before the workshop even starts so that you can set it up for real success. Hi, I'm Kerri Price. I'm the founder of the Facilitators Network, and I use the principles of deliberate generosity to make sure that no meeting or workshop is ever wasted. I've been facilitating for 20 odd years and I've led thousands of meetings, workshops and community conversations. Now I help other trainers and facilitators do it well too. So in this video, I'm going to use the word workshop and training session interchangeably. These principles around how to begin a training session apply regardless of whether it's a workshop, a meeting, a community conversation, or a training session. The first thing is you need to make the invitation clear. People need to know right from the get-go why they're being invited or asked to attend the workshop or meeting. When I'm sending out a workshop invitation, I like to include 2 things: what I'm hoping people will get out of attending and what I'm hoping that they will contribute. If I'm in direct contact with the participants, I can word that however I like. But if I'm working with a client and the team leader or the manager or the CE is sending out the invitation, I will often give them a script to make sure that they're really laying out what I think is going to happen. If they're not super open to that, I do ask that they copy me into any invitation that's being sent so I can make sure that what participants expect and what I'm expecting are the same thing. The second thing you can do before the workshop even starts is to send a welcome email. So they've been invited, they've accepted the workshop or the meeting request. Now you can send a welcome email and say, I'm so glad that you're coming along, and give them all of the logistics that they might need to know ahead of time. When I'm running a training session or a workshop off-site, I'll tell them things like where to park. I'll tell them things like there'll be coffee available so you don't need to stop on the way. I'll tell them how to get into the building. Anything that takes away that initial anxiety of arriving on the day. Sometimes that goes down to dress code. People want to know what they need to wear in order to show up and fit in. That welcome email is also an invitation for people to get in touch if there's something I might need to know in order to make the session successful for them. Now, I don't use the words accessibility because often what might be useful for me to know is much broader than that. So what I say in my welcome email is, I really want this workshop to be a success for you. If there's something you think I need to know in order for that to happen, please feel free to get in touch. When you make invitations like that, it's amazing what people will tell you ahead of time. Things like, my uncle passed away a couple of weeks ago and I'm still not quite there. Or I've got a bad back and I'm going to be standing up from my seat quite a lot. Is that okay with you? Giving people a chance to share their concerns ahead of time makes it much easier on the workshop day. Third thing to do is to send a reminder email about 2 days before the workshop taking place. Now this reminder email is essentially the welcome email repeated, because some people won't have even opened the first email, and if they have, they've probably forgotten about it or lost it, and now they don't know where to show up. 2 days is enough time for people to let you know about things, prepare themselves if they need to, but not so long that they're going to forget it. In that reminder email, I sometimes include a little video of myself. So now not only do they know the logistics, they get a sense of who I am and how I'm showing up. So when they arrive on the day, even if they don't know me, they at least recognize a friendly face. Fourth thing you can do before the workshop officially starts is to create a welcoming environment in the room. When people first show up in the room, the way it's set up, what they can hear, what they can see, what they can smell, that tells them a whole lot about how the workshop is going to be for the rest of the day. So think about, what music have you got playing in the background? What coffee smells might they be able to smell? How is the table set up? If you've got tables and chairs set up in rows, all facing the front, that sends a message that this workshop is all about me and I'm the expert and you're just here to listen. If you've got tables set, round tables or chairs set in circles, tables facing each other, that sends a message that this workshop is about contribution and you'll be talking with each other as much as I and you are talking together. All of those details that people notice when they first arrive send a message about what the rest of the day is going to be like. The fifth thing to do before you officially start the workshop is the unofficial start. Now that term was coined by my friend Mark Collard, and it's about the stuff that happens between when people first arrive and the workshop actually starting. There's a ton of different activities that you can use, but a really simple and informal way to kickstart that unofficial start is the use of your name badge. I often have name badges that look a little bit like this, different shapes, different sizes, but there's a space on the name badge that says, I could talk for hours about ... And people get to fill that in with whatever they like. What that means is when they're mulling around, they're waiting for the workshop to start, there is a conversation starter between two people. You could talk for hours about your grandkids. Tell me about them. Who are they? How many have you got? What do you enjoy doing with them? It avoids that kind of awkward small talk when no one knows what they want to talk about. So now you've done all of these 5 things and you're officially about to start the training session. You want to make sure that all of this scene setting is not wasted. So head over to my next video, how to start a training session as a trainer, and there I share 6 things you need to keep in mind as you kick off your training session for good.